Hey guys, I wasn't recording videos in a very long time, didn't see any reason for that, but today I'm going to do that because some of my followers on Twitter were asking me many questions regarding the market in general, uh, uh, expressing their concerns about the possible recession, asking me what to expect from Bitcoin, what is going to be its direction, whether it's going to enter its macro bearish phase or not. So I decided that in the video format it will be much easier for me and to do and for you to understand, rather than if I am going to do that in the written form, in the form of a tweet, of a post. So I decided to do this. Unfortunately, the quality of the video might not be what you expected, but if you are interested in my opinion, in my vision, then bear with me. So what do we start with? First of all, we start with the macro picture of Bitcoin. What do we see here? Basically, what do we see is that Bitcoin marked double top here on the weekly chart, and before we capitulated here in this green zone, we traded within this range, within this very technical and clear range. And this is what is happening after the move of any asset on the technical side goes parabolic. And this is what we did here. We can see that after reaccumulation or accumulation phase, we had a boost on the President Trump's presidential rally, and this move was strong and fast in time, and that is why we left a lot of inefficiencies. All these two candles, weekly candles, are inefficient. That consist of price imbalance, and as we know it, and what I teach everybody, that all these imbalances always get filled. You see these imbalances from the 2021 filled. These imbalances also filled. So it was only a matter of time before we fill this imbalanced candles. So, and when, and as you can see, we drew this very technical range, and what I was sharing and saying during those times on Twitter was that this is a clear range, and this purple line, I added it later after we drew these two touches here. Yes. And I said that this purple line is going to be the indicator of when we should close our longs and sell everything, and we are going, most likely are going to be are going to capitulate. And this is what happened actually. Yeah. So everything was very clear and technical. So, and for the scenario when we lose this clear range, I said that we are going to be to reach at least either $74,000 here. Why? Because it is a clear and very understandable support level of the first all-time high in 2024. This was the first all-time high that we did since 2021, and this was a clear and important psychological support level. Or the second scenario was that we can even deep eventually up to 69 or 65 plus $1,000, and then start recovery and reverse. Why did I have this possibility that we can even go $65,000? First of all, because we still got this piece of uncovered candle inefficiency that will have to be covered, and also because technically we had in the intersection of all supports here, as you can see from my trend lines, and you know that my trend lines work very good if you follow me long enough. So and this didn't happen. We didn't get to $65,000. It's okay. $74,000 was also the first possible scenario, but also we need to understand that if we don't cover this inefficiency, this means that we are going to cover it later, 100%. We just don't know when we're gonna do that. And also, before we even capitulated here, I expressed my thoughts that possibly we can build here something like this after the capitulation in 2021, marked with this green support zone, and now I edited it too. And I expressed this, I shared this scenario on Twitter before the other traders did so. But when we actually capitulated and started trading and consolidating in this area, a lot of people and a lot of experienced traders also started to refer to this zone. And we know the golden rule that if some narrative, some knowledge, or some idea becomes a common narrative that everybody on social media is sharing and expecting, most probably it is not going to work, because the market makers, the big players of this market, they are following the common narratives. And when the crowd, the majority, starts to believe in something, they ruin their plans, and the scenario doesn't go as everybody expects it to go. So basically, at that time, it was obvious for me that we will make some kind of consolidation, similar consolidation here. But today I'm not so sure, but at the moment it's still possible. And why? Because let's turn on my one of my favorite indicators, Kijun Sen. And as you can see, like in 2021, we were consolidating and finding reversal here close to Kijun's support, and we didn't lose it. If we lost it and closed below it, it would mean that the trend, the bullish trend for Bitcoin was over. And as you can see, once Bitcoin lost its Kijun and closed below it, retested it, it meant that we entered the bearish phase, the macro bearish phase. And the same we see here. As you can see, technically at that time, if we had a brutal capitulation here up to $65,000, we could reclaim it fast and go higher, and that would be our bottom. But right now, as you can see, we didn't go that deep, and we found the support around 74,000. What does this mean? This means that potentially I don't see us falling lower here. And if we fall lower than $74,000, then I think that will be the sign that the bullish market is over and Bitcoin is entering the bearish phase. Why? Because most likely, if we right now, after that, we fall up to $65,000, we will find local support there, but then we'll recover to $76,000-80,000+, but this will be our ceiling. We are not going higher. That will mean that we will go lower up to 59, 58, somewhere there. This will mean, only that scenario will mean that we are bearish on Bitcoin. But for now, we are in a good position, in my opinion. Why? Let's turn on the 50-200 moving average. And as you can see, this time 50 moving average held us again. Like this time, like here, we tried to break it, but closed every time we closed above it and reclaimed it. And that was the sign that we are going higher and not falling lower. the same thing is happening is here this time. And I expect, and I shared it on my Twitter account for weeks, that since we recovered from here, it was a solid recovery last week, but I think we need to get back to $77,000 at least, and maybe we will, maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower, but we will hold and retest this. We will retest this 50 moving average on the weekly time frame, and then we will reverse and go higher. This is my opinion, because under this angle I don't see us losing $74,000, and that is why, as long as we hold above $74,000, Bitcoin is not at risk yet. And as you can see, if you compare the previous year's situation here, chart and or patterns, we can see that since we lost this range, the distribution range on Bitcoin in 2021, as you can see, we had the similar line here, trend line that I built here too, and since then we followed it. So basically I'm expecting something like this: retest 79, 78, 77, recovery, reversal, and strong reversal here, retest of this zone, and potential right higher until, and I think this line may be our the indicator of our potential next top. And of course right now it looks very easy, and I think this might not work at all, because I mean partially yes, but whether it is going to repeat the same pattern that we did in 2021, I don't know. It will depend on how many people will see it, and I think a lot of people will see it, and when everybody sees some scenario, it stops working. So we will react accordingly based on what we see. I think maybe if we don't go as high as this like previously, but we can recover here, find some rejection, and then if we fall under Kijun, then that will mean that we are in the bearish phase and we are going down, and then we will recover this inefficiency. That is why I'm not bearish on Bitcoin right now. I think we're only going to retest it. And why do I think so? Also, take a look at the low time frame picture here. And for now, everybody is talking about this zone and making some speculations, making some theories why we are not allowed to go higher than $88,000. Because actually people say that if we flip this $87,000, $88,000, then we are going much higher and we turn into the bullish phase. I say yes, this is possible, but I think the run will not be that strong. Basically, right now we are in a position that we retesting and holding the 50 moving average on the daily. And yes, technically, if we break it, then potentially we go up to $96,000, and then we retrace back down and form some retests before we go higher. But my scenario is a little bit different, and I was expecting that we are going to stop here. Some people say it is doesn't make sense, but for me, as if you follow me on Twitter, let's look at the another chart. I drew this. Let me show you here why it was so easy in the last few months to trade Bitcoin, because I had, and understand what is going to happen, because I had these trend lines. Everybody uses its own indicators. Somebody uses ranges, somebody uses support resistance lines. Everybody uses what's convenient and easy to understand and what's working for him. But I use every single indicator of this, but I think in different times, in different market phases, each indicator works. Some indicators work better, some indicators work worse. And this is why, since Bitcoin retested this trend line, I started to focus on this. Okay, let's mark it with let's make it wait a minute, let's make this one blue. And as you can see, since I drew this line, it worked for me perfectly as for trading and finding supports and resistances. As you can see, it worked as support many times a long time ago. This was before the capitulation, and once we lost it, I decided that's it. I'm not buying anything, not longing, as long as we reclaim it. And as you can see, it worked locally. It worked perfectly as support resistance indicator. And this blue line too. Why do I use these trend lines? Usually, as you can see from my macro chart, macro high time frames, you can see that I use global trend lines, and they work perfectly to me, and I don't even need any other indicators. But why do I use even on midterm and low time frame indicators some trend lines? Because the market, the price doesn't move up or down. It doesn't move on the distance. It doesn't move vertically or horizontally. The price moves diagonally. And that is why the main diagonal trend lines and channels it creates, they matter on the high time frames and on lower time frame levels. That is why they worked perfectly for me since then. And some people don't understand why don't we pump here, for example, right now, why somebody is holding it, because you need to understand. Some people are asking me what is happening, why are we stuck in this range, and whether the big smart money is buying or selling. You need to understand one thing, that big and smart money are not that smart. And if you remember, in 2021, many top venture capital firms, centralized exchanges, lending protocols, they went bankrupt, and they got wrecked. They lost a lot of money and went out of the market because they thought they know what they are doing. They were longing with high leverage. They loaned a lot of money to long more, but the market kept going down. Because you need to understand that big and smart money are not always smart and funny. They are primitive. They gamble here, and they don't understand basic rules of the market and price formation. And also, not all of them are within the insiders circles. And also, there are a lot of players on in this market. A lot of big and smart money, so-called smart money, with big bags of cash. And basically, here, when smart money were distributing and taking profits here, others were not doing so. So when Bitcoin was here reaccumulating, some impulsive ones were selling here, but the others were buying here. And not because they were maybe they were not some were buying here because they thought Bitcoin is going higher and they will be stuck later here. But some of them, even those who sold everything here, they are not buying again. But what do they do here? They open longs, a lot of longs, and then because they know, for example, they know that Bitcoin is going to go lower, much lower, but they need to work on what the market is going to do in the closest time. So basically they can even buy here or long, because they know that there will be a deceiving manipulation that will onboard many other retailers and big money here before they dump on the retail. That is why they long here, and they sold here, but here they long, and then they take profit on the heads of others who thought this is going to be another parabolic rally to $100,000. So some people in these areas that we are now, some people are buying, some people are longing, some people are selling, and these are big money, and everybody is playing their own game. So it is hard to understand and see what is happening there. And all those on-chain wallets you follow and data you pay for, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't tell you anything, because the real money are hidden, and they move. They are placed in the not public but private wallets, anonymous wallets of these people. And when some company buys, like Michael Saylor buys a lot of Bitcoins, it doesn't mean that the price will go higher, or he knows that Bitcoin is going to $250,000 from here. That is why he buys around $100,000+, $90,000, $80,000. He doesn't know shit, because he uses his clients' money, and he doesn't care what is where Bitcoin goes, because he charges his fee, and he bought Bitcoin personally and for his company, for himself, below $10,000. So now he doesn't even care what is going to happen Bitcoin. He buys like any brokerage firm and venture capital firm who operates with their clients' money. They don't care whether you win or not, whether they will provide you with a good buy or not. They see the clients who come to them and ask them to buy their Bitcoin, and they buy them this Bitcoin. They don't care whether it will be beneficial for their clients or not. So so you should stop following this information and give it too much meaning and important significance for your moves. And today, why do I think that, and let's back to our local situation, what is happening here. Technically, yes, it looks like potentially if we break this Kijun resistance and we break above, we become bullish and we go higher here. But in my opinion, and that is what I think for many weeks now, I think that we need to reverse here, and that will be a good sign. And we need at least to go to 81,000 plus. But that is going to happen only if we close below this 50 moving average on the daily, and we need to retest at least 81 plus thousand, and then maybe reclaim it and then go higher, meet this 200 moving average resistance, retest back, get back to 82, retest and go higher, maybe, probably yes. But also, if we do not reclaim it, break this resistance here, then we can go up to 78, 79, $77,000, and this I think is going to be our bottom here. And from there I would 100% to buy here. I'm not talking about Bitcoin, actually. Any altcoins that you are interested in, I would 100% start buying here. That is what I think here, because the resistance here is significant in my opinion, and that is why market makers don't want us, don't give us the green light here, the break of this key zone, because it is better to make everybody scared again. And also, if we look at the why I also think about this possible another dip here into the 78, 79, 77, I think because when I look at the altcoins like Layer 0 here, yeah, this is what I predicted for Layer 0, and since it retested this structural line it lost, it went down and it was reluctant to dump, but it is dumping, and this is what I predicted, and this is what is happening. Why do I think? And this is kind of the reason this chart is an example. Why do I think Bitcoin needs to go back to 78, 79, $77,000 at least for the retest of the 50 moving average on the weekly? Why? Because assets like Layer 0, they have a clear inefficiency imbalance here, and to recover it, and most likely I think as long as we under this dotted line, I think Layer 0 is going to recover it, and I drew this here, and I don't see how Layer 0 is going to recover it, is going to feel it, unless if Bitcoin breaks its current resistance and goes to 96,000, then we are going to go like this, and I don't see how we are going to recover. Yes, we can take a long time to recover it this way. Yes, this is the alternative scenario. But right now, as long as Layer 0 also very conveniently fell under its key long-time support and under this 50 moving average, it serves as resistance right now. It makes sense to me that it would be better for us to go and retest this and feel this inefficiency right now. Then we can buy everything. And that is why I think Bitcoin needs to retest 78, 79 first. And as soon as Bitcoin, if Bitcoin closes under daily 50 moving average, it will accelerate the fall. And the altcoins will follow as it was here before, and they will cover all their inefficiencies. If we look at the 4-hour time frame, what do we see here? It is very interesting, a very tough situation, I'm gonna tell you, because based on the 4-hour time frame, we are already on the intersection of 50-200 moving average. And if we actually lose it, we dive and close under the Kijun, and it will mean that we are going lower, and it will scare shit out of the market, and alts will follow and feel their inefficiencies. Of course, if we break above this resistance, then of course probably it will be it, and we are going higher. And I think my plans won't work here this time, but definitely it would be a much it would be a more convenient, in my opinion, scenario for me. And if we look at the super trend, and it doesn't work like this, but I don't have it on this in this browser, but the real and super trend resistance is here. I don't have the settings here, but it is here, and it is combination of two strong support resistances here, and I think they need to hold here. A lot of altcoins still have got room to go and to find their bottoms before the reversal, so I think Bitcoin needs to hold resistance here. I guess this is what I wanted to say, guys. So in the midterm, I don't see any reasons to panic, because as long as we hold this green zone, this 50 moving average, and I think we need to retest it first, and then we go higher, and then we will decide what is going to happen next, whether we will break this pink zone, this and enter this previous range that we lost and go higher, or if we don't, we can actually lose Kijun, and then it will become our resistance, and then I will say yes, we entered the bearish market, bearish sentiment, bearish phase for Bitcoin. Until then, as long as we are above this Kijun support, as long as we're here, everything is fine, and Bitcoin is going to reverse here. Just need to wait a little bit more, maybe up to this week and the next week, and then we will be back. So I guess that's it. If you have any other questions, then ask me. Okay, let's also, I recalled one more thing. A lot of people are concerned about the death cross that we drew here on Bitcoin, and some people say we will invalidate it by breaking this structure, by breaking above it, and it will be invalidated. I don't see it for now, but if we don't break this, and this is why we are not allowed at this time, we are not allowed to break this key zone, resistance zone. So and if we do not break it and close below this 50 moving average, I'm telling you, there will be a lot of panic, because a lot of people will say, shit, we didn't break that, and we are staying in the death cross, under death cross spell, and we are in trouble, and people will start panicking. And this is what it is good, and this is what is expected from the crowd, to start panicking and fail to re-enter when Bitcoin comes for the retest here, and then we will suddenly reverse and start breaking above. Why this is happening? Let's and these death crosses or golden crosses, they have this trick. This trick that I discussed in 2021, 2022. Probably I won't find this video anymore, but let's get back and I will show you this example of this. It was somewhere in 2019, I guess. Yes, this is it. This was the golden cross that we drew here, or not the golden golden cross. This we drew the death cross, and we played it out. Then we reversed and broke above, and then we drew this golden cross. And under what narratives this happened? Because there was some news that China said that they are supporting crypto and becoming pro-crypto and are seeking to explore cryptocurrencies. But that was a lie, and what other calls and social media personalities made it sound like. But the actual news was that China is supporting and exploring Bitcoin, not cryptocurrencies. But everybody started to spreading the news, this news, as if China is supporting and is going to unban cryptocurrencies, and everybody went long and on this news, and I said, wait a minute, this is not going to happen. And when this happened, and after that news, we also started and drew this golden cross, and everybody has become very bullish. And how does this work? We show a golden cross, everybody gets bullish, then we squeeze it below, and everybody doesn't understand what is happening, because we already had this golden cross. And then after this squeeze, the capitulation, we reverse very fast so that nobody can manage to onboard, and then we reclaim it, and already again we make another golden cross, and this is what is happening. So basically this is how they work. The same works with the death cross too. So basically, if we drew this death cross, this doesn't mean that we are going to play it out immediately. Basically, what should we do? Technically, usually what do? We mark this death cross, and then now we need to scare people and make them bail out. If we go for the retest, a lot of people will be scared that they will say, yeah, this death cross actually works, bail out. And then suddenly we'll reverse here, reclaim it, retest this one, and maybe we'll flip into the bullish situation. Everybody starts onboarding fast, and they think, yes, this death cross doesn't work anymore, and it doesn't have any power over us, and we are ignoring it, and we are going higher. And this is when this is the trick. And after that, we actually start playing out that death cross, and we will get back under it and go lower. This is how it usually works with the tricks. I don't know if I explained it clearly, if it's understandable, but I will come back to this topic later. And at the end, I wanted to share one macro chart that I drew on in 2023, and it still works for me. I had these global trend lines. Wait a minute. As you can see, these trend lines, and that marked the top. Black line 1, black line 2 marked the top in 2021 2 times, and this time it also marked the top. So basically, if we become very bullish and go on another second leg, there are two scenarios what we can expect for. Either this black line 1 will become our major ultimate top, or line 2. So basically, if no acceptance above it, then definitely you sell here and go home. Yeah, if we come here. If not, we can find the top here around 140,000. Otherwise around 118, 120. So basically, this is the macro scenario I'm looking at and expecting. Unless we lose this 50 moving average support, close below it, and start dumping and close below the Kijun. Yes, this will be the sign that we are entering the bear market for Bitcoin. Until then, I remain positive, guys. So this is it. If you have any questions, leave them in comments. Goodbye, guys.